Morning, everyone. My name's Councillor Tony Hall. I'm seated next to the Director of Community and Lifestyle, Mr. Brad White. Welcome to the City Lifestyle Committee meeting of the 11th of October. I'd like to begin by acknowledging the traditional custodians of land on which we're gathered and pay my respect to elders past, present and emerging. I would like to advise attendees in the room that this meeting is being webcast and audio recorded. Do we have any attendances and leaves of absence? Sorry, do we have any leaves of absences today? I note that Councillor Jeremiah is not present at the moment. I don't have any announcement of absence. And Councillor Raven, I believe, will be here shortly. He's just running a little bit late. He's already given us an indication of that. Well, here we go. Councillor Jeremiah has just walked into the building. I now refer to the declarations of conflicts of interest. Do any councillors wish to declare a conflict of interest against any report on today's agenda? There being none, I will now refer to the reports on today's agenda. We'll begin with item 5.1. Proposed Logan Art Gallery 2024 exhibition program. This will be presented by Amazing Libraries and Creative Industries Manager, Miss Annette Turner.
Thank you, Chair, and good morning, councillors. I'm very pleased to be joined today with our Art Gallery Coordinator, Michael Wardell, and the purpose of our report today is to present to you the proposed 2024 exhibition program for Logan Art Gallery. For your endorsement. Consistent with Council's Logan Art Gallery exhibitions policy, the 2024 program follows the two major themes of exploring the diversity of Logan artist work and also bringing to Logan significant touring exhibitions from around Australia. And Michael's going to take you through the program.
Okay. Good morning, councillors. Okay, we start the year in January with Sue Puglioli, People and Paintings in Places. Sue Puglioli presents a series of hand-coloured lino cuts featuring imaginary art museum spaces with crowds gathered viewing iconic works of art. Jacqueline Scotcher, Distract Attend. This exhibition responds to our contemporary life, exploring our fast-paced digital lifestyles and shrinking attention span. Yu Chao Du, Neon Mugshot File. Neon Mugshot File is a new installation by Rochdale South artist Yu Chao Du, comprising of a series of mugshot images digitally drawn using an iPod. Chiara Costamanga, Ripple Effect, Out of Art Waves. Each year, Logan Art Gallery mentors one of the outstanding young artists who exhibited in our annual Art Waves to develop their own solo exhibition for the Young People's Gallery. The 2023 Art Waves mentorship was jointly awarded to 2 students, and the second recipient was Chiara Costamanga. In March, Natasha Narain, Recalibrating Cantha at Logan. Natasha Narain presents a body of new and resolved work that demonstrate how our altered books have come closer to forms of painting. Fiona West, The Marvellous and Magical, Collage and the Moving Image. An exhibition of photographs, kinetic sculptures, projections and objects that explore experiences of displacement, belonging and memory. Not Quite There, curated by emerging artists Genevieve Memory and Vicky Satchwell. Not Quite There is a group show involving 8 Southeast Queensland artists from diverse backgrounds who all work with the body as subject. Workshop Wonders 22. This 22nd annual exhibition highlights the gallery's practical art workshop program. In April, we have Shaida Vasser Shied and Atuza Manafi, Postcards from Iran, Zan Siddiqui Asadi. Waterford West artist Shaida Vasser Zader presents a series of photographic and video works depicting everyday gender discrimination experienced by 3 generations of Iranian women in her family. The Robin Dorr Visual Arts Scholarship finalists, an exhibition of work by the selected finalists of the 2024 Robin Dorr Young Visual Artist Scholarship. Martin Smith, Dodging Chainsaws. Dodging Chainsaws is a retrospective from the past 20 years of Martin Smith's photo text artworks. Razia Ghazal, Simov, Phoenix, the mythical legendary bird. As an Hazara Australian artist, Razia Ghazal tells the stories of the people she has crossed paths with, stories of love, pain, hope, nostalgia, migration, and culture. Anne Huthwaite, The Lay of the Land. The Lay of the Land is an exploration of natural landscapes based on the artist's personal journey through life. In June, Troy Skene, an exhibition of recent work by Troy Skene. As fellow artist and son of the respected elder Uncle Joseph Skene, Troy continues the family practice of storytelling, both personal and traditional, through his art. Clay on Country, an Artback Northern Territories touring exhibition. Clay on Country celebrates the enthusiasm for ceramic practices in the Central Desert region. World Environment Day posters. This annual exhibition brings together a collection of vibrant artworks designed by Logan's young artists. In July, Paula Irene Payne, A View from the Edge. Paula Irene Payne's exhibition, A View from the Edge, is her response to environmental themes. September, Art Waves 2024, Logan and adjacent areas secondary schools art exhibition. Art Waves is an annual art exhibition of work sourced from the creative and talented high school students from the Logan region. In October, Logan Portraits, a curated exhibition of portraits by Logan artists reflecting the diverse cultural backgrounds of people from our local community. Mire Creek and Beyond, the New England Regional Art Museum touring exhibition. Mire Creek and Beyond is a major touring exhibition curated by Indigenous curator and artist Bianca Beeson. The curator attributes the selection of artists to her ability to create, their ability to create works which deepen the conversation around the issues surrounding the Mire Creek massacre. Ripple effect out of Art Waves. Each year, the Art Gallery mentors one of the outstanding young artists who exhibit in the annual Art Waves to develop their solo exhibition in Logan Art Gallery for the Young People's Gallery. This will be the still unselected 2023 winner. In December, Christy Ann Duffy and Tony Bilby, Two Birds, an exhibition of works by 2 artists who share a passion for telling the stories of birds through their art. Pai Manu, Tai Tahu Contemporary Visual Art, APT2 Satellite Exhibition. In conjunction with Queensland Art Gallery, Gallery of Modern Art, Asia-Pacific Triennial of Contemporary Art, the APT, this exhibition is the result of a collaboration between the New Zealand collective Pai Manu and the local Maori community in Logan and surrounding areas. And Ronelle Reid, Conversations with Nature, an exhibition of new paintings by Cedar Vale artist Ronelle Reid, inspired by community responses to the question, if you could talk to animals, what would they say? Thank you.
Thanks, Michael. The proposed 2024 exhibition program has adhered to Council's exhibition policy and has not only nurtured and explored the diversity of Logan's artists' work, but has ensured all community interests are met in this wide-ranging program. The exhibition program is for your consideration and endorsement.
Councillors, do we have any questions? Sorry, Councillor Kerensky.
Thank you, Councillor Hall. I just wanted to say it looks like a really exciting year ahead, and I love the variety. I think it's tremendous. And there were some really great notes in there, so that I look forward to being part of and look forward to hearing it. So when the time is right, I'd love to move the report.
Thank you. I too remain impressed. It's great to see so many local as well as fabulous national works being seen in our galleries, and I'm really looking forward to the Art Gallery in 2024. With no further ado, I have a mover. It is recommended that the proposed Logan Art Gallery 2024 exhibition program be endorsed. I have a mover with Councillor Kerensky. Do I have a seconder? Councillor Bradley. Show of hands. That has been carried unanimously. Do we have any general business for Miss Annette Turner? There being none, you're free to go. Okay, next item on the agenda is 5.2, the finalisation of local law amendment process, subordinate local law number 7.2, heavy vehicle parking on a road, 2003. I'd like to present the City and Safety and Livability Manager, Miss Emily Shafto.
Thank you, Councillor. Through the Chair, good morning, Mayor and Councillors. So this report seeks to finalise the process of making a minor amendment to subordinate local law number 7.2, heavy vehicle parking on a road, by removing certain roads in Springwood from being exempted places for heavy vehicles to park for more than 1 hour. So following Council's prior endorsement earlier this year to advance the process to community engagement, today we report back briefly on the outcome of the community engagement process. So our engagement with the community included writing to 283 residents in surrounding streets, contacting 72 businesses located in the area, and installation of 20 content-specific signs, which included the proposed amendments and a QR code. So in response, Council received several inquiries, but only one submission from a member of the public. After consideration, we recommend accepting the contentions put forward in that submission. So consequently, today, in summary, we seek endorsement from Council to conclude the local law amendment process to remove 3 streets from being accepted roads where heavy vehicles can park for more than 1 hour, and these roads are indicated in the draft amendment attached to the report. Those include Carroll Avenue, Paxton Street and Marajong Road. Thank you, and I'm happy to take any questions on the matter.
Thank you. Okay, we have a question from Councillor Bradley.
Thank you, through the Chair. I want to thank you sincerely. This has been a long process, and I'm very grateful that you listened to that one resident. They had a very valid point. They are from Division 3, by the way. You probably know that, Councillor. But yeah, I'm very grateful that we listened to them, because yeah, it's a good solution. So I'm happy to move it.
Do we have any further questions? There being none, we have a mover from Councillor Bradley for the proposed recommendations, and I'll read them out. It is, number 1, it is recommended that it be noted that the only submission received during the community engagement period for the proposed amending subordinate local law 7.2 heavy vehicle parking on road 2003 has been considered and resulted in no amendments being made as detailed in the report of the Director of Community and Lifestyle dated 15th of February. That the amending subordinate local law 7.2 heavy vehicle parking on a road 2003 as attached to the report of the Director of Community and Lifestyle dated 19th of April 2023 be endorsed by Council. That in accordance with Section 29B of the Local Government Act 2009, arrangements be made to inform the public that the local law has been amended by publishing a suitable notice, A, in the Queensland Government Gazette, and B, on the Logan City Council's website. We have a mover from Councillor Bradley. Do we have a seconder? Councillor Russell has second. Can I see a show of hands in support? That has been carried unanimously. Okay, we'll move on to item 5.3, City of Logan Hooning Task Force and Action Plan updates. And we have Miss Emily Sharpto, and we have the Community Safety Program Leader, Miss Keely Larson.
Thank you. Through the Chair, councillors, I'm pleased to introduce Keely Larson, my colleague, our Community Safety Program Leader, to present the successful outcomes of the Hooning Task Force and seek a minor amendment on its terms of reference. Over the past few years, the task force, made up of councillors, council representatives, QPS and government departments, was able to achieve remarkable results locally following the introduction of new funding from council and a strong action plan. So Keely, I'll hand over to Keely to discuss the outcomes of the task force and the continuing operational efforts to combat the issue of hooning in Logan City.
Through the Chair, thank you, Emily. So this report provides an update on the City of Logan Hooning Task Force and successful outcomes of the associated action plan. The report also provides an overview of how we established the multi-agency task force and the development of the action plan. Importantly, the report outlines some key achievements and highlights of the work of the task force. Briefly, I'll go through a few, including the positive changes to the way that online reporting is made through the Police Link website regarding hooning, a breakdown of the enforcement activities that were undertaken by police throughout the hooning action plan period, the great success of the targeted marketing campaign that was undertaken, which reached more than 200,000 residents, and the use of new CCTV camera technology, which has significantly helped police to be able to identify and prosecute hooning offenders. The report further outlines Council's ongoing commitment to hooning in our community, which is demonstrated through the Logan City Council response to hooning in the City of Logan document, which is attached to the report. The report, as Emily mentioned, also seeks Council's endorsement on a minor amendment to the Hooning Task Force Terms of Reference, which are outlined in attachments 3 and 4. The amendments include the adjournment of the task force until further notice, as was decided upon in the last task force meeting. So I'd like to finish again by just acknowledging the notable outcomes the Hooning Task Force and Action Plan has achieved in addressing hooning in our city, and confirming that the Community Safety Program look forward to working in partnership with our key stakeholders to continuing addressing this issue in the community. I'm happy to take any questions.
Thank you. We'll begin with Councillor Fraser.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. So I just got a question about the Griffith Uni work that they did. So attachment 2 on page 60 of 88, sorry. So they've got a bit of a summary there, which is really cool. So have they done any work other than this, and will they continue to do work afterwards possibly too, or was this all that we engaged them for?
Through the Chair, so this is just a summary report. We do have a report that is, I think, almost 100 pages long, which provides more detail on the evaluation, which I'm happy to share and can be publicly shared if you'd like. But going forward, we haven't engaged them to undertake any further work, but not to say that we couldn't in the future.
I'd love to have that 100-page document shared, because I was disappointed when I saw this actually, but yeah, now that you said there's a 100-page document, that's exactly what I expected. Thank you.
Councillor Wilcox.
Thank you, and thank you very much. The other day I did get my little flyers and my fridge magnets, and I have a mobile office again on Saturday, so I'll take them with me. But just wanted to double check, can we please push out more socials, because obviously when you're looking at the data it has dropped again, so I'd love to bring it back up, because the messaging that we need to tell the community, I'm assuming, and hopefully correct me if I'm wrong, is they need to report. If we don't report, we don't have those stats to give the police. So if we can send out that messaging again, that would be great. Thanks.
Councillor Lane.
Thanks, Mr. Chair, through you. Thanks very much for this report, ladies. I know that you've worked very hard in this sphere over a number of years, and it's a thankless job, and often sometimes you feel like you're not getting anywhere with it, and then all of a sudden you have a win. I was doing a mobile office this morning in Kingston, and Dewars Road is completely rubbered up with burnout marks, and unfortunately I'm not going to be able to put CCTV cameras on there because the cost of those have doubled in the last less than 12 months. So it's not reasonable to do that in response to that. The covert cameras are an important mechanism in this fight against hooning, and I appreciate that sometimes they get damaged. and sometimes information gets posted out about them and they are actually taken. But I note that in some cases we've had, I think it was 17 hoons were caught doing burnouts on footage that we managed to get. So that's a big positive for the community. I just want to say thanks very much for the report, and your work with QPS is not unnoticed, so thank you.
Are there any more questions? Councillor Raven?
Thank you, Mr. Chair, through you. So on the advocacy space, how many times were you able to meet with the Police Minister?
Through the chair, I'm not confident of that detail. Can I take that on notice,
Yep,
please?
all good.
Any further questions? They're being done. Look, I'd like to add in that being a member of the Hooning Task Force with Councillor Heremiah, Councillor Fraser, Councillor Murphy and Councillor Kerensky, you end up learning a lot about the process and what is required to actually catch hoons. And I think the biggest takeaway message that I received from it was it's not something that can be resolved just from the police, just from council. It actually takes a whole community. It takes residents' input, residents actually reporting, residents assisting police. So I think the best takeaway message is to help resolve this issue, we all need to get involved. We just can't put the heinous on one single entity to try and resolve it for us. We all have to be part of the solution to this problem. With no further questions, I'll go towards the recommendation. It is recommended that the amended City of Logan Hooning Task Force terms of reference as attached to this report be endorsed. We have a mover with Councillor Murphy. Can I have a seconder? Councillor Bradley. Okay, can I have a show of hands? That has been carried unanimously. Okay, I'd like to note that the following report is a confidential report. It's item 5.5, future direction of Springwood Community Facilities Hub. Sorry, I've just skipped one. Sorry, 5.4, $2 pool general entry fee. This is a confidential report. I'd like to... it'll be presented by Mr. Brad Page. Sorry, guys, you were jumping right ahead. Can I please have a mover to move us into confidential? I have a mover with Councillor Wilcox. I have a seconder with Councillor Bradley. Can I have a show of hands? Okay, we'll do the rounds. We've got Mayor Power. How do you vote? 4. Councillor Bradley?
4.
Councillor Lane?
4.
Councillor Russell?
4.
Councillor Kerensky?
4.
Councillor Raven?
I'd like to abstain and provide a reason. So I made an election commitment not to have unnecessary confidential meetings. The subject of this meeting is not confidential because it's in the name of the report, and the only confidential part of it is the actual costing. We could have had the entire debate other than the numbers in public, and I'm disappointed that it's been put up as confidential.
Councillor Fraser? 4. Councillor Heremiah?
Against.
4. Councillor Vennon? Councillor Stemp?
Against.
Councillor Wilcox?
4.
Councillor Murphy?
4.
And I am 4. So that has been passed. We'll now move into confidential. Thank you, councillors. We're now at a confidential. We've had a very, very long discussion on a very important thing that one of the councillors has raised. What we'll do is we'll have a motion up on the board, or have we got several? No. The original motion? Okay. Councillor Jeremiah.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I'd like to ask council officers a question.
Councillor Jeremiah, ask your question.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. If council were to charge pool entry fees at council-operated pools on a cost recovery basis, how much would a pool entry fee cost?
What was the question?
Thank you for the question, councillor. Just one moment. With the data we have in hand, which granted is not as good as I would like it to be, if we were to operate on a cost recovery basis at council pools, and this is not factoring in additional maintenance that occurs at those pools, because that data is not at hand at the moment. Beenleigh Aquatic Centre, $24, Bethania, $18, 27 Logan North, $39 Eagleby would be the general entry price average to operate at a net zero operating position.
And what's the average amount across the city of those?
The current entry prices? The average of cost recovery or the average current entry price?
The average cost recovery price.
You'd be talking high $20.
High $20. Yep. So that's how much council would have to charge if we weren't subsidising pool entry fees.
That's correct.
So the opportunity today is that right now we have an opportunity to decrease pool entry fees to make it more accessible for the public. If the pool entry fees on a cost recovery basis would be in the high 20s, we charge $5 for a pool entry fee. That means that there's about a $23 subsidy for pool entry fees currently in the city. Now, what we have the opportunity to do is increase that subsidy from $23 to $26. Not a massive increase in that subsidy, but what that change will do is for the user, for the people who use the pools, it will decrease their upfront costs of using the pools from $5 to $2. That's a big difference to people, not a big difference to the subsidy that we already provide. 97% of respondents at a Division 8 community meeting agreed that pool fees are too high and they wanted to see $2 pool fees. I wanted to ask council officers, why does council subsidise pool entry fees?
Thank you for the question. Look, it's probably a broader question for council officers. It's not something I'd be able to answer on notice.
Thank you. And I've done a bit of research as to why council does subsidise pool fees. And we need to go back to first principles around why council provides this subsidy. And according to the University of Toronto, the reason why public pools exist and they're subsidised is because of externalities. So back in the 1870s, people in urban areas used to go to their local river and clean themselves. It was a hygiene element, so public land was provided for hygiene. As the cities got busier, people started to be dangerous in the rivers. They started to drown. So government came in and built wooden pools inside rivers so people could be safe in the river while they washed. Cities grew, the rivers got dirty. So government came in and built pools on land where people could go and use them, and the purpose was hygiene because people didn't have plumbing and indoor bathrooms. People got plumbing and indoor bathrooms, but the pools maintained, and it switched from a subsidy for the purpose of hygiene to a subsidy for the purpose of recreation. Our city has the least affordable pool entry fees in our region when you factor in for incomes. Our city has the fewest amount of pools per capita compared to Redlands, compared to Gold Coast, compared to Brisbane. It's important that people in our city have the opportunity to use a pool that's affordable and accessible. Now, there's been talk about going back to budget process, and that's what this motion proposes. I don't think that's the right thing to do, because we've approved millions of dollars of expenditure without going through the budget process. This is less than that. Analysis shows that this could have a positive impact on council's budget by generating more revenue, and a bar's been set that we don't go to budget for every single expenditure. Summer's coming up. Kids don't have access to pools. We need affordable pools. This will be good for the city, good for the city's budget, but most importantly, good for the public. So I implore councillors to vote this motion down, so then we can vote on a motion to implement a $2 pool entry fee this summer today. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Hermia. I believe what you've kind of used as your point is rather the long-term pricing of pools, but the request is more for a short-term instance of a reduction of price in pools, not a long-term overall one. I'm going to move over to Councillor Bannon. You had something you'd like to say.
Thank you through the chair. Everyone has an opinion. I'll also ask something from the staff, if I may. So, how many people, percentage-wise, of the city use the pools?
I think the question through the chair, very difficult to come up with an accurate answer. On visitation, it says 17%. The reality is that includes multiple visits from the same individual people. So at a guess, it'd be 10% or lower.
So for around 10% of the entire population of Logan City Council, the way I look at it is the council's already subsidising $25 already. It's already offering a subsidy. We're already doing above and beyond. If you look across all the SEQ's councils, well, I think we're the cheapest. If you go by the comparison, regardless of wages, because people in Logan can earn X amount of money and other people in Logan can earn X amount of money. So, and the other thing that's changed with time, Councillor Hermia, is also a lot of people have their own pools now. So if we go back to time, people actually started building their own pools because they didn't want to do anything, they didn't want to go anywhere else or share it with someone. So I actually say to the council, I agree with this, I'm not going to ravel on, but for the 10% of the population using these pools and we're subsidising $20 to $25 per person already, I commend the subsidy that we're already doing, and how far do you want to go with it? So I do agree that we go back to council to budget, because that's what we're supposed to do. Because this will have an on-flow effect on everything. And the last thing you want to do is drop this on staff and do it ad hoc, do it properly, do it the way we're meant to do it through a budget, because this is public money. So I recommend you for doing what you've done. I think the report's sensational. You've got more experience in pool than anyone has, so we've got to listen to you.
Councillor Raven.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, and I'm mindful that parts of the report are confidential, so I don't want to wade, pun intended, into that space. But I guess the point, I agree with Councillor Hermia that if you ask a room full of people, do they want something cheaper, 97% are going to say yes, every single time. If I said, do you want free dog registration, I guarantee you 97% of people would say yes. Whether or not that's affordable for the city and whether or not there are other impacts down the line hasn't been determined yet. And that's what we really want to understand, which is why it's best to do it in a strategic way through budget. I think there's more to this than just the price. I think that the Bethania pool is closed right now. I've got residents asking me, why is it still closed? Why does it close at 3 p.m. on weekends? And they want access to that pool for longer. I would rather consider that in the context of the budget, what that costs, what the staff costs of that, do we have enough staff to man it? And all of those things, so that we can provide a great service all across the city for as many people as possible to use, rather than just making it cheaper for the people who are already enjoying that subsidy. Because what else could we do with that money is always the question. Who misses out because you give a pool subsidy? And I'd like to understand that in a strategic way in the context of the whole budget. I think it would be great if we could do it. I agree in principle it is good to give low cost or no cost services to the public, but that just means that all ratepayers fund it so that the people who do use it can enjoy it for free or very cheap, which isn't how we do it at the tip. It's not how we do it with a whole variety of other services. So that actually brings in a different question. Do we want to start subsidising everything and drive rates up to do it? Because that's what the ultimate outcome is.
I agree. Mayor Powers.
Thank you, Mr Chair. I concur with Councillor Jeremiah. It might be crazy economics, but the more people that use the pool, the subsidy is reduced. It's easy mathematics. I understand it. I think there's an interest in the community seeing the pools used more. For that reason, obviously the subsidy is reduced, but also the council's investment is used. In other words, if council invests millions of dollars in building a pool, the community would like to see those assets used to their full potential. My concern, and I understand that there is busy pool usage early in the morning by squad swimmers, by people swimming laps, learn to swim, etc., etc. I accept that. I would put the notion that we allocate a $2 increase, sorry, a $2 charge after 9 o'clock for the school holidays, because we actually don't know where the sweet spot is in pricing our people who use the pool. What is the sweet spot? What is the price of getting full usage of our pools? I've been down to the Springwood pool in the middle of the day, and I've seen no swimmers there. I would like to see, obviously, pools used to their full potential to not only see the benefits of spending all that money on pools, but also getting the sweet spot. If we invest just in the school holidays and we see a lot of kids using that pool, then obviously we know that we're overcharging. I think a 6-week investment, school holidays after 9 o'clock, I think it's a very limited exposure financially. I think the city would see us as allocating a period of time which would benefit families. I think it would win overall. I think we're all sort of like, what would be the window of opportunity here to find out where that sweet spot is? So if this doesn't get up, and I won't be supporting this motion, I'm suggesting that we put the notion that we have a trial of 6 weeks of the school holidays starting after 9 o'clock, that we introduce a $2 charge, and we see where that proposes. We know that we're not interfering with the school programs, the school swimming sports program, where the thousands of swimmers go. We're looking at a time where the pools aren't being used that much. I propose that if this motion doesn't get up, we propose that motion, that we introduce a $2 charge after 9 o'clock for the school holidays. Thank you.
Councillor Kerensky.
Thank you, Councillor Hall, and I'll make this brief. I appreciate where Councillor Jeremiah and the Mayor are both coming from, and I think that they're both valid points and they're objectives that councillors would like to meet. But what I'm hearing is muttering around the table of, yes, it would create a benefit, no, it wouldn't create a benefit. I'm not comfortable with decision making when I don't have the information in front of me, and this isn't what we actually ask the officers to do. So they've provided us with a report on the basis of what their best recommendation is, and that's to bring this back to a budget process, taking into account all of the factors that you've raised today. So I'm happy to move the report, Mr. Chair, and I look forward to this coming back in budget, and I think some of the ideas you've raised today are great, but I'd like to see it holistically in the budget process.
Councillor Fraser.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I'll be very brief. Yeah, I love everyone's ideas. This is a great idea. However, I would like to see it in the budget too. I'm sorry. Thank you.
Councillor Lane.
Thanks very much for you, Mr. Chair. I was at our local pool, the Gould Adams Park Aquatic Centre, last summer. I was there a number of times and the pool was full. It was full of people. It's a very small pool. Putting more people into that pool, I appreciate that the Springwood pool is so much larger and has so much more capacity, but Gould Adams does not. Having a price for families and not for pensioners is selfish and unfair. Our pensioners are the backbone of this community. They've built it up and they're there at 5:30 each morning doing their rehab and trying to get in there. It's unfair to have two price tags for different groups. and I can't support that, so thank you.
As a chair, I'd just like to say, look, I think with anything in life, it's always best to plan ahead. With good planning, you can do some amazing things. I think if we follow the recommendation of the officers of putting this into the future budget and we plan this out properly, we can make a success of it. I really don't want to do anything which is ad hoc, because in my life, whenever I've made financial decisions ad hoc, they've never really turned out that well for me. But whenever I've made decisions with planning and foresight, it's always been good. And I think that is the expectation of the community, that when we're using ratepayers' money, we do it in a very planned, organised process, and we don't do anything ad hoc or disorganised. I'm going to ask that Councillor Kerensky move the current recommendation on the board. I know you have your hand up, Councillor Jeremiah, but I'm closing this off. I'm done with this one right now. Okay. Do I have a seconder, Councillor Bannon? Can I please have a show of hands for support of the recommendation on the board? Councillor Mayor Powers, how do you vote?
Against.
Councillor Bradley?
For.
Councillor Lane?
For.
Councillor Russell?
Against.
Councillor Kerensky?
For.
Councillor Raven?
For.
Councillor Fraser? For. Councillor Jeremiah?
Against.
Councillor Bannon?
For.
Councillor Stemp?
For.
Councillor Wilcox?
For.
Councillor Murphy?
For.
And I'm also for. That has been. Okay, councillors, thank you. That was a very robust debate. Do any councillors have any general business for Mr. Brad Page? There being none, Mr. Brad Page, you're free to go.
Thank you, councillors.
Okay, councillors, we have another confidential report. It's item 5.5, future directions of Springwood Community Facilities Hub. I'd like to invite Sports and Community Infrastructure Manager, Mr. Ben O'Brien, to the table. Now, I note this is a confidential discussion. Is there a mover from any of the councillors to move us into confidential to discuss this? Councillor Stemp, you'd like to move. Do I have a seconder? Councillor Murphy, you'd like to second. Can I have a show of hands to move us into confidential? That has been carried unanimously. We'll now cease the recording. Okay, thank you. We are now out of confidential. We have a motion up on the board.
Excuse me, Chair. I'd like to foreshadow amending that motion to include a previous council decision about property in, am I allowed to say in where it was? Yeah, in Sunningdale Avenue. That decision was possibly from memory last year, just to make sure that the funding goes towards this.
Okay, all right. So we'll test the original motion first, and if that one doesn't get up, then we'll accommodate the motion that you would like to do instead. Can I see a mover for the motion on the board? I'll move. Mayor Powers has moved. Can I have a seconder? Councillor Russell has seconded. Can I have a show of hands, all those in support? Okay, Mayor Powers, how'd you vote? Councillor Bradley?
I abstained because I wanted to include that funding, which is allocated to Division 1, community facilities, to be included in the recommendation.
Councillor Lane?
Abstain.
Councillor Russell?
For.
Councillor Kerensky?
For.
Councillor Raven?
For.
Councillor Fraser?
For.
Councillor Bennon?
For.
Councillor Stemp?
For.
Councillor Wilcox?
For.
Councillor Murphy?
I abstained. I was going to support Councillor Bradley's second motion.
And I would also like to abstain to support Councillor Bradley's amended motion. Can we see the numbers on that? That has, okay, that has been carried, that has been passed. Yes, Councillor Bradley.
Excuse me, Chair, I did say I wasn't going to trump anything publicly. However, I'd like to ask councillors to reconsider that for next week. Thank you.
Okay, so all councillors take that in mind. Councillor Raven?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I won't be here next week, but I couldn't not vote for that motion, not knowing what the proposed motion was. So if it's before councillors, before they get to vote, it's easier for them to decide if they want to support your motion or someone else's. But it wasn't raised or discussed in confidential until right near the end, and we didn't know what we were going to vote on. So that's why I voted the way that I did. I would have happily supported an alternative motion if I knew what that motion was, but I didn't, and I was satisfied that the work Ben and Noel had done was good.
Okay. All right, so that has been carried. Do we have any general business? So for Mr. Ben O'Brien? Yep. Councillor Lane?
Thanks very much. Through you, Mr. Chair. I'm pretty sure this is your area, Ben. I'm not quite sure, but I think it is. So I have two community members that have been part of Logan City Cricket Club since 1976. And those community members have pretty much been running the club single-handedly for the past 2 decades, and in fact for the last 15 years have been the sole people actually contributing to the improvement of those fields, the improvement of the wickets. And unfortunately their time has come where they need to retire from it for health reasons. Les and Pam Marshall are absolute stalwarts in my division, and Les has recently gone into hospital with some serious health issues. I would like to move that a report be brought back to the next City Lifestyle Committee, seeing whether or not we can name those 2 fields that they've been maintaining for the last 2 decades to Marshall Fields. It's part of the Gould Adams precinct, and no individual fields have been named before, but I would love to see them named Marshall Fields as a tribute to them. I understand historically we'd name them after dead people. I'd rather live people actually get some joy out of knowing that their service to the community has been appreciated. So if I can have that, that would be magic. Do we need to do a motion on that, Mr.
Mr. Ben O'Brien?
Thank you, Councillor Lane. Love the sentiment. Yes, we'll work with our partners in Parks Branch to bring back a report around the naming of land or parkland as part of the naming of parkland policy here.
Councillor Bradley.
In particular, Marshall Fields for Pam and Les Marshall at Gould Adams Park. I don't care what they do in Burnley.
Thank you. Thank you through the chair. May I suggest that you include Rochdale Tigers Field, which has been named after someone who is alive.
Councillor Raven.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, through you. My understanding was it was just living politicians that we were worried about, not living community members. Jodie Henry is still around as well. We recently did that one. So we trust the community far more than we trust politicians, that's all.
So no Tony Hall Park anytime soon?
Not until you pass away.
May that never happen. Okay, so no late reports. All right, that concludes the agenda for today. Does anyone have any general business? Whoop. All right, so we actually need to vote on that future report going forward. So there's a motion up on the board for general business item 1, that a report be prepared to a future City Lifestyle Committee meeting requesting the 2 fields being maintained to be renamed to Marshall Fields. Yeah, could we have an amendment to that to include Gould Adams? Okay, so we have a motion up on the board. Can I have a mover with Councillor Lane? Yep. And can I... Councillor Stemp, you have a question?
Sorry, through you. Just why do we need to actually create a motion? I'm just curious. It was just a GB item. Okay, because we have GB items come up all the time, discussion, but I don't understand why this is different. Okay, so you called for a report, not just for the actual change. So,
well, we actually, in order to affect the change, we actually have to have a report come back to council to say that that is something that it would either be approved or rejected. So, yeah.
As they would say, procedural.
operational, it's something that we'd have to actually. Okay, all right.
Okay, so that has been moved by Councillor Lane and seconded by Councillor Bradley. Can I have a show of hands in support? That has been carried unanimously apart from Councillor Herrmeyer?
Abstain.
Okay, so that has been moved. Okay, so that concludes the agenda for today. Does anyone else have any general business for the Director of Community and Lifestyle? Councillor Raven.
Thank you, Councillor. I was going to raise this with the CEO later, but I may as well put it to the Director now. When a report has confidential elements but isn't actually confidential in nature, can we please separate that out? We do it a lot in planning and in economic development where we just keep the numbers, if that's the confidential part. In a confidential document, we don't refer to those numbers specifically, and it lets us have an open debate. I think the community would have loved to have heard the full debate on the pool. It was really well informed, it was balanced, it was actually great government, but they'll never know because it was kept within confidential because a blanket got applied across the whole thing. So in future, if we could just isolate those actual confidential parts so that we can speak publicly, openly and show the community that we are fighting for them in their interests, even though their interests are varied and so are our positions.
Take that on notice. Councillor Bradley.
Thank you. Is it possible through the Director or even the Manager to send through that alternative recommendation that was spoken about to councillors before next week? Thank you.
Okay, do we have any further general business? There being none, I now declare the City Lifestyle meeting of the 11th of October concluded at 11:35. We'll have the city governance meeting at 11:40. Is it 11:45? Thank you.